The word of 2025 is probably layoffs. And we're back in the Bay Area, close to it, in Santa Cruz today. And we're just seeing that these layoffs just constantly keep coming. Intel, Microsoft, Meta, all these big companies that provided huge amount of wealth to this area are starting to say, haha, we're going to start cutting jobs, and we're starting to even cut more, and they're not even shying away from telling us it's AI related or something else. They're just saying, we're going to cut the jobs. And this is what a lot of people are struggling with, the new way of work, the new way of how things are run. And in this video today, we're going to show you two different people. One of them that is a little bit more senior trying to get a job, and one of them is a fresh new grad that's trying to get into their industry that they got a degree in, and they just can't grasp or they can't start it. So we're going to watch these videos in a little bit here, and then we're going to see what you can do about it and some ideas on how you can grasp foot in it, how you can go about it, and showing actually how true and how bad the job market in 2025 really is. So let's look at some numbers. So in 2025, there's been constantly new layoffs. So the bigger problem is that companies need to tighten their belly, tighten their wallet. And so what do? You let people go. That is one of the easiest ways of actually saving costs. You cut these employees, they will then not cost you any benefits. And that is an easy way how you can overnight basically make your company more profitable or have more cash on hand than paying for these employees. And with the rise of AI, it is now easier to actually fire them and say to the rest of the team, just use AI to do it and enhance productivity. And these people that normally during the great hiring in 2021 were actually going to say, I'm not going to deal with this, I'm just going to find a new job, are now scared because job searches take a lot longer. If you haven't networked and you don't have an established relationships with these people. And so this is kind of the problem that we're facing. And now we're going to jump into the first video, basically showcasing a new grad showing how brutal the job market is.
Do you have any expectations about what the job market would be like when you graduated?
I was told by a lot of people that I was going to get a job right out of college, and then all of a sudden, there's no jobs.
22-year-old Michael Macaluso just earned his degree in mechanical engineering from the University of Connecticut.
You all good?
But this summer, he's back helping manage his hometown pool. He hasn't found a job in his field despite applying for nearly 200 positions. New research finds now, for the first time ever, the unemployment rate among recent college graduates has exceeded the national unemployment rate, ballooning to 6.6% over the past 12 months. Oxford Economics' Matthew Martin.
This kind of goes against what you would expect. Those with higher educational attainment usually have better employment prospects than those with less educational attainment.
Martin's team believes companies are eliminating formative entry-level jobs, the work handed over to artificial intelligence. Tech companies are leading the way. Nariman Farvardin, the president of Stevens Institute of Technology, says his school has been preparing for the AI revolution for the last 10 years. He expects disruption throughout the workforce will be bigger than the disturbance brought on by the introduction of the internet, and it could last up to 15 years.
I think AI has the potential to either augment or maybe totally replace jobs that are physically or cognitively repetitive. These jobs are not only done by entry people. There are certain people who do repetitive things for all of their life.
Farvardin says his message to students today is the same as it always has been: get an education that will last a lifetime. He says workers who innovate alongside.
We just saw CBS talk about the struggles that so many people out of college are facing. And this is what our parents have told myself, and probably their parents have told them. Go to college, get a degree, and then you're going to make a lot of good money afterwards, and you're going to be set for life. And in 2025, we saw the number jump to 6.5%. And that is people that don't have a job. So that guy that actually cleaned the pool has a job, so he's not considered. So it's probably way higher, probably about 25 to 30%, the functional unemployment rate, because he got a degree And all of a sudden, if he didn't have parents that were wealthy, that paid for his college, he's going to have to start making these student loan payments. And if you have a biomedical engineering degree, or you have a degree in finance or something that can actually then pay for the degree, you're good. But if you cannot land a job, it's just going to be even brutal for your morale, for your outlook, for your future. And so this is what a lot of people are going through right now, that they just can't find a job. They can't do it. And as I'm getting older and I'm getting more wise in the job search, in how the job market works, and doing all this research, and I'm starting to find that it is all about who you know. And I've been telling you guys, if you watch my channel for quite some time, and if you haven't, please like and subscribe. I'm going to have a new goal of reaching 50,000 subscribers. I just passed 10, so I really appreciate it. And so if you are trying to make it, it is all about networking. So if you know me, I've always been talking about, you got to network, you got to do the extra mile, you got to go to these stupid events and trying to network, try to increase your market value beyond just a few email conversations, and say, hey, let's connect. Let's connect on LinkedIn. Let's do other stuff. And I know LinkedIn is getting saturated, and people say, "Oh, it's all salesy. It's all like clickbaity stuff and politics." Yes, but what is happening when you connect with somebody, you can shoot them a message. I know they might not read it, but at least you have some form of connection, and you know that if you connect with John or Jimmy or whoever, and they accept your request, that you can actually message them. And they might not see it, or they might not never look at it, but at least you have that one little glimpse of connection that you can leverage if you do get laid off at an old job and you want to go back to your previous employer or something that you connected with beforehand. And so it is so important to do that. And I cannot stress it enough. Network. But I hate the word. It's just, people have such, like, they get so nervous about it because it's just gives them anxiety. And I get why, because it's like, why would I network with somebody in HR? Why would I network with somebody? Because you never know where they might go. And now we know that people move around in companies, and it's always nice to know other people and just kind of leverage that at one point. But in order to do that, you cannot be an asshole. So remember, if you're watching this video, be kind, be generous, and not be an asshole. And it's easier said than done, because there's egos, there's politics involved. So be cordial, be nice, and try to make the best of it. And so now let's watch another woman that's more established in her career, trying to find a job, and see what she has.
I think something that is truly frustrating for me right now is that I've applied to like hundreds of jobs, like since May of last year of 2024. And I had one job that ended up like not working out in November. I only worked there for a month because they lost their contract. But since then, I've just consistently applied for remote positions, and I have the basic skill set that they need. But it's just the constant rejection that just keeps eating at me. And, you know, we need that extra income so then we can help pay off the debts and take care of the kids' future. And I think it's just really discouraging, because it's like, why did I even go to college? Like, why did I even get the skill sets that I did if I can't just like use them? Anyways, here's to hoping that social media works out, because we really need it to work out. I'm discouraged. I'm just frustrated because it just feels like no matter how hard I work, it's never enough. And no matter what kind of skills I have, an employer is going to say, you're not the match we want. But like, what about giving people a chance? Like, what about interviewing people? Like, what happened to that? I used to get interviews all the time, and nowadays I can't even land one interview. And I feel like that's like the most frustrating part for me. I've been like contacted by scammers before, but those, you know, are scams. So I don't know. I'm just struggling today. Thanks for watching if you watched this far.
So as this person is basically talking about, she's saying that they're not even holding interviews. It's so hard to grasp. and remote jobs remote jobs basically became somewhat of a luxury. During COVID, everybody was remote. During COVID, people moved to Fort Myers, Naples. They moved from tech areas to different places where the cost of living is so low, and everybody was just living it up. And it was really, really a time of boom where you could basically do whatever you kind of want. But all of a sudden, we're seeing that you got to come back to the office. You got to come back to the office. You got to come back and move to the city again. And now they're starting to say, "Oh, I don't have the money." And if they do have the money, they don't have the market. So if they do need to move, the market of selling your property isn't there because it's going to sit on the market for a long time. And so you cannot physically move back because you'd have to rent, and your house that you've purchased in your other location won't sell that quickly. So you're in a catch-22. What are you going to do? So it is just absolutely crazy where we're going. And another touch on, she's basically saying that she can't get interviews or anything else like that. And what I talked about beforehand, a little bit early in the video, was like, you gotta really, really try to get the networking down. You gotta get that, just that little shot of networking where you can shoot an email, get an internal referral, do something like that. And I know people say, this doesn't work, this doesn't work. It does, and I see it all the time. So in the school group that Ali has, we see how people do it, and it is a lot true. You know this person, can you shoot me an introduction? Can you do this? And then it's like, okay. And even if you then get rejected, they can then bypass it somehow and give it another look. So if the recruiter can give you another look at your application, at your job, there's a really good chance that they will look at it and say, it's actually not that, it's actually quite a good match. ATS just kind of filtered out the resume and we didn't see it. And so now you put it actually in front of a human where they can actually look at it and be like, this wouldn't be that much of a, that wouldn't be that bad of a match. Actually, it would actually be a quite good one. I don't know why ATS did that, but this is just in the job market of 2025. So if you're watching this, take something out of this video today. If it's just one topic that you take out of this video today, is start networking, start putting yourself out there. If you're freshly out of college or university, I really hope you did an internship in your field where you can kind of leverage something. So if you have not done an internship, it's going to be really hard because you don't have any of the skills that are required to do engineering. You kind of have to then doctor some of these skills from pool cleaning to engineering, what might be really, really hard to do in a tough market. If it was an easier market, then you probably wouldn't have these problems. But since we're in such a hard job market, you really, really gotta take care of your LinkedIn. You gotta use it as a billboard. You gotta go the extra mile with maybe project portfolios, with website, just kind of to stand out, to give you that little edge on it, to bypass the system and make sure that you're gonna actually get a second look. And I know when I tell that to people are like, I don't want to, I'm fed up. I've done 300 applications. I've done 500. I've seen people write 1,000. But the problem with that is when you've done 1,000 applications and you've literally gotten no interviews, what have you been doing? Because if you're sending out hundreds of applications and you get like no interviews, you gotta reconsider your strategy. You gotta, instead of just rage bait applying with AI and have AI apply to a gazillion companies, try to do way fewer, more high quality, and trying to get people's email addresses, shoot them an email, trying to network and do it. Because when you're fresh out of college, the last thing I want to do is live longer with my mom or my parents. I want to get out there and then kind of move up in the world and make money, pay back my debt if I've taken out some, and then keep on rolling and hopefully climb the corporate ladder a little bit so I can buy the nicer cars, can I buy the nicer apartment, buy the nicer things in life, and not worry about finances and get stressed out every day. Because it happens, you get stressed out, the bills pile up, you get credit card debt, and you need that support. You need that system where you're going to network, you're going to do the right thing. So yeah, don't just give up. Reevaluate your strategy and kind of then get into it, and make sure that if you have severance right now, like 6-7 months, don't just say, I'm going to start looking in 3 months. Start looking now. There's nothing worse than you running out of severance and then saying, oh my gosh, I ran out of severance. I thought the job market wasn't so bad. It's just the name of the game today in today's economy, where everybody is just struggling to hold down a job, to keep a job. And yeah, let me know what you guys think about all of this. And if your area has booming jobs, because I know some people always say, my area is booming like crazy. So let me know what industry, what field in the comments below. And if it's true, I'll pin the comment. And yeah, if you're retired, man, you're pretty good off, because stocks, high, all-time highs. And yeah, that's where you want to be. Retired, sitting on a few acres. I know some of my viewers are in Texas, sitting on a few acres, hanging out, and just kind of drinking coffee at the porch and saying, what a shit show. And then just closing the laptop and being like, man, that was my dose of reality today. And just close the laptop and be done with it. So yeah, this was it from this video. My next video I'm gonna make is about how we reached 10,000 subscribers, how I even got here. Because people tell me all the time, oh, you gotta help me become a YouTuber and become rich. So I'm gonna go over some of that stuff. So please, if you haven't liked and subscribed, my next video is gonna be who I am as a creator and how I got to 10,000 subscribers. Because I think that's pretty important for people that don't know my background, that just tuned in the last few weeks or so, or month, so they can see who I am. And yeah, thank you so much for being on my walk with me, as you guys requested. Different scenery, different background. But later on today, I'm heading back. So I know these were delayed somewhat. But yeah, this is it. And I appreciate you guys for coming on my walk with me. And the next video is going to be my 10K Who I Am video. So please make sure to like and subscribe so you see that one too.